feel balance restored to the world because Carlos Condit is knocking people out with his elbows again. But you have a story that can only be told by you because you're the only one with this type of, I don't know, people just see you and hand you things. Could you please explain why your grip is about to get insane?
Okay. Well, I'm good, and welcome to Verbal Tap.
We've been talking all day because it's Worlds, so Verbal Tap, fighting's easier from outside the mats, whatever.
Most people have only seen at this point, Kevin put up a video of him watching Worlds from Hawaii, which is where he is, in case it's a little confusing.
Mahalo.
And they've only seen several beers that Kevin has been drinking in said video, not the full extent that he has been drinking while I've been talking to him. So yes, welcome to the show, everybody.
Still working on that Bud Light sponsorship, if you noticed.
Well,
I was trying to stay consistent.
Kevin's the one person who's still insisting on that. I'm up for anything. Is that still their phrase?
Is that the slogan? Where's that town? It's not in Hawaii.
Up for anythingsville? Is that next to Margaritaville? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so a fun thing happened. I went over to the Gameness booth while at Worlds because I went to go visit for a couple days, and I was trying out the Jits Grips. For those of you who don't know, it's that really cool invention that it puts two sleeves on like an elastic band, and it's a really cool piece of exercise equipment for jiu-jitsu artists who, don't have good grips or want to improve their grips. And I happened to try it out because I've seen it. I've seen it on Instagram. I've wanted to use it. And I finally got the chance to go ahead and start trying it out. And I loved it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to leave. That's really cool. Thanks, everybody. Well, the owner of Jits Grips, I guess must have heard about this because somebody runs after me and was like, Raf, I heard your grips are so terrible. You need this. And I said, "Well,
they called you. They're just like, Raf, trust us. Like you're gonna want to try some experimental things here. Get crazy."
Like, I don't know if you know this, but when you look around and you look outside, all of the people who are amazing at jiu-jitsu, who are surrounding you, and then you remind yourself, "Oh my God, I'm the worst person here, and I'm also jiu-jitsu fat again." For those of you who don't know, jiu-jitsu fat is when a normal-sized person walks into a jiu-jitsu event and suddenly becomes obese. That is jiu-jitsu fat.
More specifically, it's not just that you're jiu-jitsu. How do you know you're jiu-jitsu fat? You might be wondering out in the world. Don't worry, everyone will tell you.
Well, I can tell you that if you are breathing heavy after just walking up the stairs to the pyramid, you might be jiu-jitsu fat.
Everyone will make it clear. That's not a bad, it's also some Jeff Foxworthy in later, but...
Yes, it's also weird when you look to see what everybody's eating, because you're looking around, and you can tell all the people who are really true to training are still... like not taking all the bad things. They may have some acai, but man, they're going to eat some protein bars and they're going to eat their shakes and they're fine. They're holding strong. And then you cut to me with my nachos and hot dog and going, "Was this good? Training like a champion, guys." So anyway, I want to thank Eric Heath from Jits Grips.
It looks cool. Explain to me how it works, because I don't know this at all, by the way.
Okay, so the way that Jits Grips works is... again, it's on that elastic band, so you have two sleeves, if you would, and it simulates the idea of, if you're trying to grab grips. So you almost get to try, like, if you're lying down on the ground, you get the ability to try and do almost spider guard playing from there. And, you can kind of extend your legs and try it out. Like, there's a whole bunch of things I've seen people do with it that now I actually get the chance to try out, so... I guess in 30 days' time, we will find out. Because here's the thing. I did tell Eric this.
You're going to do like a 30-day thing. You're going to do this.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see what's happening. I'm going to Jane Fonda my way to a decent grip because I have shitty grips. I did tell Eric one thing, and I don't know if this poor man really knew how much I meant it. But I told him, I said, if I don't have good grips, I'm coming straight after you because I will blame you.
You're calling it Jits Grips. Maybe like Jits Grips plus Raf. Like something's going to have to change. It better work is the point.
Absolutely.
Well, was that the only thing you saw at Worlds, or was there some jiu-jitsu, or were you just walking around checking out all the gear? I'm fine with either answer, by the way.
There's a lot of stuff happening at Worlds. I have to talk about maybe the most pressing issue at Worlds, Kevin.
Yeah?
Have you been to a Worlds? I know you've been to Nogi. Was it Worlds or Pans?
Pan Ams.
Pan Ams.
Nogi,
Okay.
Nogi Pans.
Okay. Do they have acai over there?
They do, yeah. They do have acai.
When you get the acai over there, are you allowed to take it out of a certain section?
Yes.
Well,
I don't remember being sequestered. Like, there wasn't like, the Monopoly jail. Like, that wasn't a thing.
there is acai jail, and this is maybe the most pressing issue. Not referees' decisions, not advantages. This is the most pressing issue for the entire jiu-jitsu community because it affects not only competitors but spectators as well. So therefore, I argue it's the biggest issue.
Yeah. And have you gotten much traction? Does everybody else agree, or are you a one-man movement at this point?
I think it's both because I think I spearheaded the let's really rally against the man, and by the man it turns out it's just one lady who is a little elderly and she blocks people from leaving. And this is the part that really pisses me off, is that you see people wearing medals who grab their acai from this little sequestered area where they don't allow you to go out, and they have a little sign that says you must eat it in here. But granted, you can eat fucking every other food. You can have nachos, you can have hot dogs with mustard because that doesn't stain anything, so fuck you guys. And no, they're just like, if you have this, you have to stay in this confined little area. Now, I get it. Acai's probably a bitch to clean up, but it's no more a bitch than the disgusting things
than mustard or nachos? Yeah. I don't think that cheese they used on nachos, once it hardens, could have kept the Titanic afloat. Like, that shit will never leave.
Yes, acai must stay within the perimeter of these little gates. So they put little white gates all around in a little perimeter area, and like much like a little food area. And they say you cannot pass this area; you have to eat it in here. So acai is always delicious, and especially this acai there is very good. But you've never seen people so conflictedly angry, and then at the same time happy. Because they're eating the acai, and they're like, you can't leave. So they just sit there just, like, really tense and just trying to put the spoon up to their mouths and eat it real quick. Like, I will watch the video screen up there because I'm so, this is so good. Oh, this is so good. So
the old catch-22 with acai. That's funny, though. There's a little jail where you have to eat it.
I'll tell you this much, though. We heard word that maybe a certain small child or kid from Atos made it through with acai.
Whoa.
And here's the thing. So this lady is not only telling, like, world champions, who I think if you get a medal, you should be able to take the acai wherever the fuck you want. Because, come on.
That should be the rule. There aren't a ton of perks to being a jiu-jitsu badass, other than the cool gis. That should be a perk. Like, you should get carte blanche to carry acai wherever you want.
I will say, I'm not going to say who I was standing next to. But there's somebody notable in the jiu-jitsu community who walks up, and they were looking around, and they go, oh man, I'm so happy to be coming here. I'm going to get my acai and go back to my seat. And I go, oh, you can't do that. And they go, what? And I point to the sign, and they go, oh man, it's a good thing I left when all the boring jiu-jitsu matches were happening. And I was like, you can't say that, dude. Like, people know who you are. And he's like, so then he gets his acai, and they have the video monitor for one of the matches going on. He sees the whole crowd are just going nuts, and he rushes over and he's like, wait, what's happening? And I was like, dude, I thought you left during the boring matches. It's only Black Belt Sunday. What possible boring match could there be? And I guess there's plenty.
Boring match. Yeah. As soon as you see them pull 50-50, which is a great transition in, though I do appreciate thus far of your coverage of the jiu-jitsu event. Number one, the acai.
Tell
Number
me a bigger
two,
issue.
I can't. Like, I'm not going to argue with your journalistic integrity. Use Jane Fonda, not Nellie Bly, to talk about investigatory journalism, but we're going to slide right past it. You then worked on your grip strength because Chris from Gameness and Eric saw you and were like, that guy needs these.
They took pity upon me. I understand it.
I would like. Did you see some of the fights while you were there?
You know, I didn't have time to.
I was even too busy eating acai. He's like, I'm sorry. There was shit that had to be done, and I didn't get to it.
They never let me out of acai jail. I was just stuck there, a permanent prisoner. Nobody bailed me out.
Were you talking about the Rafa Mendes fight, by the way, the Instagram post you put up, when it was about the confetti and shirts?
Was that Rafa? I'm not even sure.
I saw a ton of people without a shirt on behind Rafa Mendes, and I did not understand it.
I'm not sure if it was Rafa. It might have been. It's all blurring together now, but yes. So at some point, I think
Is
it was
that a new celebration the kids are doing, and this is just me getting older?
Yes, but I think they've been doing this for a while. They're just a little bit more organized about how they go about it now. So what they do...
Social media.
...is they wait for whoever is going to win, these Brazilians. And then they're like, time to party! And I don't know if somebody, like, yells it out like a conch that's like... But, like, all of a sudden, everybody takes off their fucking shirts. Because, I guess, they're all wearing the same branded shirts. And then they take them off because they're like, we're not jiu-jitsu fat, look how cut we are. And then, as they do it, I've seen that much kind of celebration before, but the one that really, truly got me was, they brought a confetti flag with them, like a little confetti gun that's just like, pfft.
First of all, if not to harken back, but harder to clean than acai, the confetti gun.
Yes, and...
significant.
Well, in the post I put up, I just said, guys, I missed the memo. I'm sorry I let everybody down. I did not take off my shirt. I didn't conceal my confetti gun next year.
Well, and now we know. We have 365 days to get in really good shirtless shape, because that's obviously step one, and to buy a very serious confetti gun.
Yes, and I will say, I will start preparing now like a champion.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going on a 30-day grip challenge, so that's probably, and I went to jitsgrip.com, jitsgrips.com, and I don't want to get you too ahead of the buck, but the first guy on there is seriously ripped using this, so I can only presume if you use Jits Grips, you're going to get ripped.
Well, I should also preface it with this. The guy from Gameness, who was really doing a good job of walking me through the product, he was like, yeah, man, you can totally do all those exercises that you were just trying out right now. And I was like, yeah, really? He goes, yeah, and then you can take it off, and you can even, like, take off the elastic band and do some pull-ups. And I was like, whoa, buddy.
Hey.
Whoa.
Don't get crazy with the pull-up business. Nope. Let's just stick with the grip thing here. Chico, we're not going anywhere.
Chico?
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's Hawaii, and I'm sunburnt. I went swimming with sharks this morning.
Tell us about Hawaii. Tell us all about it. You went swimming with the sharks?
I went into one of those. I did like a shark adventure, and we went out on a boat, and we got in one of those metal cages, and there were a ton of sharks, like 12 to 20 at different points. I took one of those underwater cameras and tried to get some selfies and just pictures of the shark. Stay tuned for how those turned out.
Oh, my God.
But so that was this morning, and I spent most of yesterday surfing, hitting up Island Jiu-Jitsu tomorrow, which is awesome. But here's the part that I was enjoying today. So I got back, I ate some food, was just hanging out on my balcony where it was sunny, turned on Worlds. Unbelievable fights today. Some of them. Obviously, not all of them. It turns out the 50-50 guard, still very boring to watch.
When used improperly. But, sure. I mean, it can be used as a stalling mechanism. I get it.
Well, and it's used as a points mechanism, right? Like the people that kept coming up and going 2-2.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, kind of, yes. It's like I wish, if I understood the full logistics, I'd talk it out, but it's always difficult. That said, I do want to start talking fights. I turned it on just in time for Keenan to fight Spriggs.
Okay.
That was essentially like the first fight I really watched.
Because your Keenan Google alert must have gone off and sent a note to your phone.
The sync goes off. Yeah, it was like, oh, the other best-looking guy that does jiu-jitsu is on, and of course I'm referring to myself as the other there.
Are you trying to say the other blonde? Like, you really cast that net very wide, and I'm not sure even you can back that one up when we go to edit this thing, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. No net's wide enough, probably. But really, you were there. So you can speak a little bit to the mood, but I would describe it, and I got to hear the announcers. Could you hear the announcers? Could you hear commentary? I don't know.
No. It would be fairly entertaining if they were to announce and be like, hey, everybody, look at this dipshit move. Oh, man. Keenan's trying that worm guard again. Never gonna get it, Keens.
So I didn't see him fight Spriggs yesterday, but I guess it would have been yesterday, but I presume he dominated him. This was a terribly boring fight that somehow he got points for the takedown. Can you explain to me a little bit what you see as the rules of the takedown? Because I think this is a major IBJJF problem. You can't pull guard? Like, you get penalized for pulling guard, essentially? Like, you obviously have to make contact. But we're talking about a fight that we're 7 minutes in. Keenan is essentially pursuing Spriggs. Spriggs is kind of staying back, rightfully so. I get it. I wouldn't want to mess with Keenan's guard very much either. Or those baby blues, you know what I mean? But how is that a takedown? How is it a takedown when someone's trying to pull guard? You're actively disengaging. He keeps trying to undress Spriggs. Like, can you explain to me the logistics? Because you're usually good at least making the case.
No. What I can tell you is, the people around me, I think it has raised a little bit of an educated viewer. That is the nice thing about watching it live, is that people who you don't know, if you ask like rhetorical questions, will answer them. They'll just be like, "Oh no, I don't know," or "Yeah, he totally got a sweep here, and here's how I did it." The interesting thing about this particular case was everybody said the exact same series of words, where everybody reacted, but then before they fully committed to it, they said, "Oh." And it's like, what'd you think? Did you think that was a takedown? I'd have to see the footage. It was uniform. Every single person, before they could commit to, oh, that was a takedown, or, oh, no, that wasn't a takedown, I need to see the footage. And I thought that was a particular thing, because I was also saying the same, because when people ask me, they go, what did you think? I go, well, my first reaction was, no, it was not a takedown, because it looked like Keenan was pulling guard at the same time Tim Spriggs was moving forward. Now, there's some in the community who would say that, oh, pulling guard, dumb, which I guess is interesting, but
there are people that would say that? There are people like pulling guard.
Yeah, because people would argue that you need to work on your wrestling, and that should be the ability to take down people. You shouldn't have to rely on the ability to pull guard in a high-profile match. So it's a very controversial thing, and I think I still am in the mindset of I didn't really see it as a takedown. What did you see it as?
I saw it as the same thing they had been doing for 7 minutes. Was the only reason I was confused. Like, why was it all of a sudden a takedown? It's just been such a back and forth of who gets that grip first. Keenan has obviously been trying, and the referee wasn't going to let them fight more than 30 seconds without interrupting it, which is always helpful.
It seemed like the referee was like letting them do something and was just like, Keenan, I just need to stop for just a second.
Yeah, Keenan, could you just 1 second? Do you mind if I get an autograph while you're just like sitting there?
Tim, you totally need to pass to his left. I'm just saying, hey, okay, thanks everybody. Okay, bye. I'm not here.
I'm not here.
20 seconds.
I'm not interjecting.
Afterwards, it's like, hey, touchies? Okay, touchies. Hey, Keenan, what's that over there? Hey, Tim, have you ever thought about going inverted? I know, crazy idea. Okay, I was what I was thinking, but I didn't know if you wanted. Okay,
let's get back up because hold on, let's get that gi back on.
And I don't know if you can put in a good word to Andrew, but I hope that the official word for when a referee stops the action by coming over and placing hands on them can actually be called touchies.
Touchies. That's why they should be mic'd. That's case in point. I'm for sure going to chat with Andrew because The resounding social media presence, which I hate citing, but most of the jiu-jitsu community that was watching seemed to be just not even angry about the refereeing, just confused. And I think that's worse. If they're angry, at least there's like an understood emotion. But mostly it was just like, why are they stopping this black belt match seconds before? Like, why do they stop it on the yellow? What's that about? Like, is there a particular out of bounds thing or something?
It'd be different if, it's one of the earlier matches, the prelims, where they didn't have a ginormous amount of mat space. But every time it seems like, how did we get back here? How did we get back to this? Like, how did they move all the way fucking to the edge of an already expanded mat? This is insane.
Yeah, and no other fights were going on. There was one other match. We're talking about a huge space. Let's get back to our roots and just let them fight it out for a second. If you're getting towards a wall, I understand. No one was getting towards a wall. It drove me nuts.
Oh, it's like, oh no. Hey, touchies. Guys, you're so really close to the yellow, and I hate yellow.
I'm never going to be able to keep a straight face through that now when the referee puts his hands on their shoulders to stop him, because that's what I'm going to be imagining.
It's my gift to everybody. However, I'm currently watching Keenan again and Tim Spriggs, and this is definitely the moment, 8 minutes and 52 seconds into it, where Tim Spriggs gets so undressed it looks like Keenan's already bought him dinner and taken him back home, because the weirdest part is the look of exasperation on Keenan's face. Like, oh, dude, come on.
Yeah. Get a gi that fits. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting close here. And you know what? I don't even care. I don't care if this is compelling radio or not. I'm actually going to cue you up to the exact moment I am watching so that we can get down to the bottom of this, because it's 9 minutes and 27 seconds into this video, and we still have a tie score. So I think it happens right about here, is what I can remember correctly. Is that true?
It was definitely not at 9 minutes. It was before that. It was around the 8 minute mark. It was like 7:40 is when
I think it includes the walking out, if you would. So.
Oh, yeah. Then yeah, right. That's probably
so
about.
I'm sending this over to you. This is definitely after the mention of Keenan's not so pleased. So now,
because you and I talked about that, you and I were both like, Keenan has a visible look on his face.
Well, and the clock on here says there's 3 minutes left. Okay, so in the background you can see Lloyd Irving having a conniption fit,
going insane because he's like, well, that ought to do it.
Nobody gives points for coaching, but I guess the more you yell, the more points you get.
I've heard that's the case.
I think that's how it works.
This is thoroughly angering to me. Like, I guess my problem is that doesn't look. The part that, like, as you clicked it, is like him ripping his jacket off too, which does kind of look like they're on their way rounding first base.
And you know what? There is the 2 points. The alleged 2 points.
So hard to see. It looks like they do the exact same thing. I mean, I guess I'll give Tim Spriggs a little bit of credit. This is the one time he wasn't backing up in the fight. Does that mean you get 2 points?
I don't. I'm going to watch it again. I'm waiting to see those 2 points happen. Because, nope. No.
Yeah, it's literally right at the 9:30 mark. They grab at the same exact time.
Yep, and it's, let's say, right now I'm looking, there's 3:16 left on the clock, so if you're watching a different video, that's kind of where we're coming in on this. There is
no control. There is no, they grab each other at the same time. The only thing that happens is that Keenan snaps down to his knees. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing, but that does not mean 2 points.
Is it that
I guess maybe it's
coming up on the side? But he still never gets an established base over there. I don't know. No, I don't think so. But you know what? And if you look at our footage right now, Kev, at about the 9:56 marker here, you definitely take a moment where you see Keenan look at the scoreboard to be like, motherfucker.
And it's right after the ref does a very introspective stopsies. They're not even past the yellow. Touchies. Okay. They're not even past the yellow. They're on the corner and he stops it.
Keenan looks like he's about to do something amazing. He's like, ooh, touchies. Hey, Tim. It's looking pretty bad there, buddy. You need to get that together. Okay, touchies, you're back in. Wee.
Touchy start. No, really awful. And frankly, that it's going to be one of those things. That ref who kind of looks like a slightly taller Vern Troyer is going to for sure have some questions to answer. But I would like to talk about a fight that was amazing.
Okay.
Because this fight wasn't. And as much as I love Keenan, his strategy of he kept pulling the fucking gi off. Like, I get that you're trying to do this, but you're going to see this more and more. Guys are not going to be crazy to tuck their gi in with the worm guard, as crazy as it is. So, Nicolini versus Dern.
That was the match.
Is Mackenzie Dern getting shot up with some sort of, horse caffeinated injection, or is that just hard work? Because that terrifies me. She was unstoppable. Even Nicolini had that look on her face could you just take a second? This is the gentle art. If I could maybe breathe and reassess, maybe we can talk. And it was Mackenzie Dern's under no circumstances. I don't care about the sweeps. I'm for sure going to keep attacking you. And did. She submitted her. Amazing.
The storied matches between these two have always been entertaining. To see this live was nerve-wracking. It was... I mean, I like both competitors. So, Mackenzie Dern, obviously, coming off a huge set of wins at the World Pro. Beating Gabby Garcia was a huge thing that she's wanted to do. And her and Nicolini have fought each other, and they're very familiar with each other's games. So, I'm excited to see them fight at any time. But when she came right out of the gate, and she was like, oh, it's fucking on. I fucking want this. I got a little nervous, got a little scared. And as you were mentioning with Nicolini was just kind of like, come on, this one's supposed to be the chill one, right? Every other one we take one and we just
yeah.
Chill, no big deal. And Mackenzie Dern had no time for that. And let me see, did she finish her with a...
the cross choke from behind. Okay. It wasn't quite a bow and arrow. She just had the cross choke.
It was a little hard from our vantage point to see exactly.
It was beautiful.
Yes, but it was immaculate, and I wasn't 100% sure she was going to finish. Just when she was setting the move up, but maybe about 2 seconds after that, I go, no, she's seeing the Matrix right now. I think she's going to get this.
And, I did just because it's Nicolini, so I presumed I didn't. Whenever it's Nicolini, I just presume she won't get submitted because it's really hard to submit Nicolini, who also, by the way, despite Mackenzie Dern looking like a train, that's what she looked like, the jiu-jitsu version of a train. Did you see the way they even started back and ran at each other? Mm-hmm. It was like that scene in 300. It was amazing. Great match, unbelievable. And frankly, it's kind of fun, too, because obviously Nicolini's been focusing on MMA, so it's not all that surprising. She's still fighting, rocking the checkmate flag. Great fight. And those two, they're going to be doing this for a while, but this feels, again, like you said it, the year of Mackenzie Dern, and I'm all in. Man, is she fun to watch. She's so fun to watch.
That was clearly my favorite match, but if I had to pick a second one, and sorry, guys, I know you in jiu-jitsu, you hate Keenan Cornelius. It would have to be Leandro Lo versus Keenan Cornelius yesterday that happened in the open weight category. It was pretty good. Are you, Kevin? In the background, you can definitely
hear me typing it, Leandro versus Cornelius.
I'll go ahead and just send you the link, Kevin, so you can watch it with me.
Thank you. Thank you. This is great radio. Are you kidding? This is fantastic. Oh, I'm found. Yeah, look at that. It's always YouTube. And first of all, compliments to IBJJF, by the way. I've talked shit in the past about their stream. Great stream. Great. Easy to use, clear, HD, good use of replay. The commentary lacked our comedic and introspective genius, but it was good. It was very good.
I don't know, one of these days, I think maybe in the future, it's too late to do this now, but I think for the Tim Spriggs and Keenan matchup, we should go back and count the amount of touchies the ref put in.
And just ding! There should be a little video. Yeah. Touchies.
One day, if I ever get the time and or interest, I think I could probably do a voiceover of touchies. Hey guys, I just want to say I'm a really big fan of both. Okay. Guys, I save 15% switching to Geico, and I just wanted to let you know. Okay, touchies over.
Also, hey, just so you guys know, Lunchables are bad for you, so you should not be eating. All right, that's all. So, all in all, and this is what the commentary kept saying, and I'm curious what your take is, because as I talk about it, Rafa Mendes, just really great match against Cobrinha, took his back, and it's really difficult to, Rafa Mendes is really good. And a great submission escape from Cobrinha at the end, and he's obviously getting playful. He and Rafa were just chatting at the end, which was funny. So you can tell, and Rafa's not wired like that. Rafa does not have that switch. It's like, no, I'm going to try and murder you until this is done. Just as I'm going to. So as they move past it, you can kind of like see it. Great match. Zhao Miao. Mm-hmm. He's really good, Raf. He should keep doing jiu-jitsu, I think.
Yes. I didn't know that I was going to die when there is a controversial Miao decision. But I felt just short of it because the whole audience stood up. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when Brazilians get excited, they start to stomp the ground a lot.
And stomp
in California,
like they do that like aggressive stomp jump.
Yes, and here in California, especially when San Andreas is just coming out, people, a little on edge. They're like, uh-oh, is The Rock going to come in a helicopter and save me? I don't know.
He didn't, I take it? He did not arrive?
Well, no, in fact, afterwards, they announced that, I believe, every time I say Bruno Malfacine, I think I'm quoting somebody in a Harry Potter book. So it just sounds like a very weird Harry Potter name.
Whenever I see the last name, I'm just like, oh, Melissa. Fuck.
It's worth it just to hear you try and say that.
Maleficent's fine. Like, still not it, Kevin.
Oh my God. You can't wait until he gets his horns back. Ooh, he's gonna be so untouchable. No. It was a very controversial decision because. Did you see that match?
I did not. Oh, that was the one that they were saying was the controversy. I saw Todd Schaefer, a friend of ours, post something about it.
I enjoy when Kevin just says the exact same words back to me. Yes. The controversy was that there was apparently phantom advantage points that just got mysteriously waived.
This isn't like touchies? This is a different thing? They were just like, no more points?
A little different touchies. I think it's what happens when you forget to do the right touchies, and then you're just like, uh-oh.
The fanties. Yeah, okay.
Touchies and fanties go together.
Fanties. Sorry about that. Yeah. We're geniuses, by the way. They should call it this. I don't know whether. Okay.
Anyway, so it was a very, very sensitive time in the pyramid down in Long Beach, and I was nervous if I was going to get out of there alive. I wasn't so sure. So,
what is the pyramid? What's that location?
It's the
it looks
Walter
like
something. I think it's Walter J. Let's just call it a Walter pyramid.
Looks like Luxor.
Yes, it does look like Luxor. Very good, Kevin. It's blue. It's giant. There's lots of sporting events.
It also looks like the pyramids of Giza. Like, Kevin, it looks like every other pyramid that has ever existed.
Exactly,
Apologies.
Kevin. Yes, it's okay.
Just take me a second. Up there.
Kevin could have just stopped it. It looked like a pyramid. I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, it's true. It does. So anyway, the whole place they started getting really bowdy, and then they started booing. And when people start booing and they're just standing up and they don't have a t-shirt gun and they're not raising their t-shirts around, you get a little worried about if you're going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah. And, by the way, this is an amazing fight. I have Leandro Lowe versus Keenan Cornelius in the background. I don't know how they're doing what they're doing, but it is an amazing fight. There's a lot of inversions. My neck doesn't do that quite the way theirs does. I wonder if that's because of how much they train. No, it's probably just natural talent. I'm sure they're just born with it. I would also like to throw a huge... And this, I was impressed by... I'm going to need you to say his name for me. Fourier. double gold, winning the absolute, and obviously super heavy. Bernardo Faria?
That was pretty close. That was way better than what you did off air. So,
yeah, that's why we practice. He's phenomenal because his opponent, and I need to look up his opponent's name again. His opponent was outstanding against Yuri Samos. That was such a great fight too. That sucks. I should know his name. Versus Yuri Samos. It was a lot of names. I'm in Hawaii. Yes. Screw it. People are like, yeah, okay. Great fight there. And he's like, right now, I'm not sure there's anyone better. He kind of has that Rodolfo Buchecha status.
I don't know if we're ready to bring up Buchecha right now.
Oh, it is early. I mean, maybe he just got bored. Is that possible?
And he was like, I've injury. He was like, I've been winning this too easy. No, Buchecha down.
Well, Keenan supposedly was a little sick. Buchecha, having the issues. Alexander Trans can't compete in the last 2 fights, which was a huge bummer. They announced
Felipe Pena was like, oops, sorry, guys. Gulp, gulp, gulp. I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, it's cream. It's just, no. It's not steroids. It's just cream.
You can't prove it's anything else. Exactly. So it was, this is obviously some good stuff, but
can
really
I tell you
a
quick story about Buchecha?
Always.
Okay. So, here's what I'll tell you. You are familiar with our good friend Alex Perez, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the podcast, but Alex and I, before going to Worlds yesterday, we went to a Gary Tonin seminar.
Gary's really, he's the one that thrives in the gi, likes the 50-50, he's a points player.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I was embarrassed because I didn't bring my gi to a Gary Tonin seminar, and I was like, oops, sorry. Anyway, so we were driving from...
embarrassing, right? Like, you arrive and everyone's in their pristine white gi. It's just like, Raf, why are you being an asshole?
I was like, I thought Gary doesn't... But...
This is Gary the Lemur Tonin. He's only about the gi game. You know that. He's a grip fighter. Yeah.
Let's find one person who doesn't have a fight name and give them the Lemur. I'm sure in Portuguese it's actually a really cool name. So, yes, let's do that. So anyway, we're driving down, and right as we're about to leave, I look on my phone, and this is you, and this is, no, it wasn't you. It was our good friend Albert Morales.
I was how nervous you needed to be about my heels after that. You were like pretty nervous.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When Kevin does send you a note and is like, how, on a scale of good to bad,
like that's a great nogi.
Yeah, on a scale of like really hurts to like, oh my god, you've just broken it. Where is my knee and my heel going to fall when we roll again? I was like, on the very bad side. Gary really hooked it up on this time. That's so awesome. As we're leaving, our good friend Albert Morales from Bellator, he sends me a note that just says, Buchecha just lost. And I was like, no, how? And then he tells me in the worst way possible, he's injured. And I go, no. And I look at Alex, and, Alex reveres Buchecha, has done seminars where he's been like, Buchecha's the best. He does great seminars. He's a great fighter. He's the best. And I have to break it to him, and I go, I have very bad news for you. And the look in his face was like, is it a family member? What's the matter, Raf? And I go, Buchecha is down. And he just goes, and I've never seen Alex hit the gas pedal on his car faster as we are driving down. And I tell him, I'm like, why are we going faster? It's not like you can be bedside to Buchecha. What are you going to do? And he's just like, Raf, you don't know that. You don't know what I can do.
Maybe he just needs a little calf rub. You don't know.
Well, that's the funny. One thing I did tell him, and this is part Kelly's genius too, but the one thing I did tell him is I was like, what do you think you're going to do? Go get acai for him or something? And later on, Kelly quipped, well, it's not like they could take it out of the waiting area, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to have to get Buchecha into the tiny little jail, the acai jail. Nachos, he can take those anywhere. He can take those all the way to the mat. if he so chooses.
Yeah, so it was an interesting time. We got down to Buchecha. We found out he was injured, although he still finished the match. So you have to give him credit. He actually, and I thought like, oh man, maybe somebody injured him. Maybe it was a submission. No, Buchecha, he did it to himself. He just lost his balance.
It happens to the best of us and the worst of us if we're just referring his injuries and the ones I've endured.
Are you putting yourself in the same category as Buchecha?
I'd say occasionally, yeah, Raf. Like, it happens. We're rolling. We're intense. We're at the peak of our games. Mm-hmm. And even it happens to me. Of course it could happen to him.
Tell me more about how your game is similar to Buchecha's.
I would like to take 30 seconds. Nuance. But, that smashing power where we're huge guys, but we have like a small guys game. One of us is a world champ. The other did pretty good at U.S. grappling as a blue belt. So, like, the comparisons run pretty deep.
I feel like, a lot of people have those great moments where they say, oh man, I like to base my game on this person, or I like to base my game on this person. This is a recurring thing for me. I don't think I have somebody who I can base my game off of, so I often complain about it. I'm like, I don't really see people.
Yeah. I just am picking another person that's shorter with a huge head.
Now, the thing about it is, and we'll talk about that a little later as well, but the thing about it that's really interesting is somebody mentioned, they're like, Raf, why don't you try to model your game on Buchecha? And I was like, okay. Yeah.
Because he's a giant? Yeah, maybe? I don't know.
Can we start maybe somewhere lower on the spectrum? Because,
yeah. Well, I'm going to model my game after Guy Mendez. That's what I'm going to get in. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna be fine. That's fine.
Yeah, no. You're right. I'm completely wrong. Nobody at all like me. Oh wait, no, it's Buchecha. He's exactly the way I roll. Yep. Thanks, guys.
He's 6'5", 240. I'll just That's It likes to invert.
I'll just get some stilts and really go to town on being even more jiu-jitsu fat in the acai. Because what else am I gonna do? I'm just gonna sit in jail and just fucking eat my emotions out. Anyway. So yes, that was a very sad moment. We hope Buchecha comes back stronger, but it did take him out of his own weight categories, which was even a bigger bummer today. It just felt like there were missing pieces, like not seeing him there.
Like they're both not there. It's tough.
Same thing. And he was even saying, he's like, it's not the same without Rodolfo. So it could go to your theory that he was just like, Buchecha bored. Ow, knee.
Buchecha bored. They have a Romeo and Juliet type pact. It's like, well, if we can't beat each other in the finals, it will be neither of us.
It's a blood oath, really. So, yeah.
And if I could have remembered the names of the families, I would have done that.
The other kind of weird thing, and I really don't know if you felt the same way, but getting to watch JT Torres roll live is really nerve-wracking. And I was watching between him and Victor Estima on a different mat, and I like both of them so much, but I'm like so torn. And there's only 2 mats going on today, so you get acclimated from like 10 mats going on at once. But when you have 2 people who you're like, oh, I hope they do well. Oh, I hope he does well. Was that sweep? No, I don't know. Did they pass? I don't know. God damn it. So, not having JT advance, I mean, it was a bummer. JT's still a fucking warrior, so just really cool stuff to see. But yeah, it was a little bit different of a world. It just reminds you of the unpredictability of when you're watching it all.
Yeah, it's tough for people like JT who, just aren't that attractive. So really all he has going for him is jiu-jitsu. So, you just always...
There was a photo of him. He apparently got named one of the top competitors within the past 2014-2015 season, and I swear to God, before I could even see what the actual certificate was, I just thought it was, I got the certificate, guys, for just being good looking. So.
It just says best looking jiu-jitsu practitioner.
And it's just him smiling as he normally is, just being like, hey, I'm JT Torres, I live the life. Yeah. What swag.
He had that look on his face when he was, I saw him at the podium. He just had that look in his face like, I do not want to be in third. It's like, yeah, that looks like the face of someone that's going to be pissed off in 2016 when they come back. We had a lot of friends fighting this weekend. Christian Woodmansee quartered. Jen Perez was fighting. T Money was out there. Good old Travcons.
Yep, and there was, in that same way of having friends out there competing, we had some friends get some questionable calls, and this goes back to what Kevin was saying earlier about it just feels a little weird, didn't it? Didn't it feel a little awkward?
Everybody was just kind of looking at like, what the fuck is... Everybody was just confused by a lot of the decisions, which is bad because that has a consistency issue.
Did you... Okay, so Kevin was the one, and I credited our good friend Albert for telling me about Bushesha, but Kevin was doing a good job and let me know something happened to one of our really good friends that really bummed all of us out. So you want to fill us in on exactly what that was yesterday?
Which part? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that you actually took time out of your schedule to message me the following Facebook post. And when you did, you prefaced it with, "Oh man, Raf, this is not good."
Jared Dopp, who is a emerging brown belt in the sense of he was so good at purple and he's been so good. He was at ADCC as a purple belt. He's a phenomenal grappler. I just saw that our good friend Rafael Lovato Jr., who had a lot of emotional stake, and we haven't talked about Shanji and Lucas Leite yet, but there was a very questionable call. And you know it's a questionable call because Rafael Lovato Jr., who's arguably one of the best grapplers ever, phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioner, was so pissed. Apparently, Jared Dopp's opponent's foot got stuck in his gi and he was called for a heel hook. Now, I don't know much about Jared Dopp's game. I know that he knows heel hooks are illegal in the gi in IBJJF. I know he knows that because he's won at various levels. Do you have any more insight since you made it? Like, since you were there? Because this seems to me like a devastating thing.
Yes, and I don't really know where you go from here because, you know, Lovato, he's in a weird place. He's not competing this year. He was saying for, I think, the first time in, let's say, a decade, because it's been going on for 20 years and he's been to all of them. I think he was saying it's the second time he hasn't competed. So for Lovato, this runs deep, you know? It's not good. And
Lovato's still recovering from some injuries and, you know, starting the MMA side. So he's got some things back,
but he's also getting ready for ADCC, and he's excited, but he's being a good coach here today, and then all of a sudden you see a very visible and angry Rafael Lovato Jr., and he's a tall guy, so it's not like he can hide it well.
It's like, I don't want to be... That's like... I don't want him pissed at me. That's for sure. You know, that was a tough moment.
It made it so that I was like, I'm nervous to go around our friend. He is... I know he would not treat me badly, but I also feel bad for his situation and his student because it sucks. So we did what we would always do on this show, which is we will show our solidarity via meme.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I sent it to Kevin yesterday.
That was a great meme.
And I said, Kev, I hope he likes this. I don't know where it's going to fall. But the meme we did, and it's a great intense photo of Rafael looking out, and it's of him. And the caption was, because he has a great podcast called Save Jiu-Jitsu Podcast, it's definitely, we put it says, that look when you know exactly what you're going to talk about on your next podcast. And I just hoped, as we put it out into the internet, Rafael would enjoy it. This morning I wake up to see he's retweeted it several times, and I was like, thank God.
You know that's what went through his mind, too. He's like, I'm fucking talking about this. Like, I'm so pissed. My brown belts do not heel hook people. Like, that's...
Well, I guess you do probably get that insulting, like, how dare you? My brown belts know better, you dicks.
He knows the fucking rules. Like, what are you talking about? This isn't ADCC. It's not no gi. Like, he knows the rules. Yeah.
But I felt so bad that, like, I saw Rafael a little bit later today. And again, in that tragically comic, amazing way, when I'm hanging around him in the same area, I'm not even next to him. It's just, hey, Rafael. And I turn around and I'm like, oh, fuck, again? Every fucking time I'm around that guy. Somebody yells out Rafael, and I inherently turn around as if I'm important in this activity.
Well, first of all, I mean, in the same vein, someone did yell at you when they were like, hey, you need jiu-jitsu grips. So you need the Jits Grips. So it does happen. Like, people do yell at you. And it is your name.
Yes, it is my name, and we share that.
I've never
it is
hung
nice.
out around Kevin Costner, but I'm sure it would happen a lot. People would be like asking for me, and he would turn around, and that's embarrassing.
So anyway, we send our best to Raphael. I didn't even bother to to really go over and be like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" Because yikes. But we wish him well, and I'm glad he enjoyed.
You know, if he's going to be, he's intense. He's intense about coaching. He's intense about all. So,
well, it's a fucked up situation. So what do you do? So anyway, I'm glad he enjoyed the meme. I hope we contributed in our small part. As of right now, it has a good number of people who have enjoyed it. So
that's a great meme.
Huzzah.
Yeah. And Jared will be back. I have a feeling. If I had to guess, I think we'll see him again. I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. So.
Jared's a big boy, and I think one thing you don't ever want to do is make a guy like him that big mad. So good luck, everybody.
Yeah, and a submission. Oh, our other friend James Popolo fought amazing and ran into the buzzsaw of Yuri Simoes, who's Yuri. Frankly, I think James can take a little comfort in, like, I think he wore Yuri down a little bit, and like you can see that in Yuri's next fight. It's just it's tough to fight a guy like that first.
But anyway, so we had that. We had our good friend Isaac Doderline, who apparently had a pretty interesting call of his own come up. So we wish him the well and the best. He's still one of the premier grapplers out there. So big ups to him. We also want to say a little bit about Xande, because damn.
Oh, man. What the F? That's his 7th title.
Yes.
That's insane. So Lucas Leitch, and I'm a big Lucas Leitch fan. Lucas Leitch sweep and his deep half guard stuff and the way he works in that half guard is something I model my game after every day. Won some very close decisions. Like, he was really on a roll with the refs being like, yeah, sure, he won. Xande gave him all he could handle. There was 4 of the best sweeps I've seen in a match in that match. And Leitch nearly takes Xande's back at the end of the match. Like, Xande has to literally hold him off for the last 40 seconds, grabbing his foot to keep it from getting that hook in. So phenomenal last fight for those two after a good day. And, congrats to Xande. That's amazing.
I think the nice part about it is when you see yesterday when I saw Xande closing out part of the day, I'm watching him and he gets mount. And when you watch him get mount, if you don't believe the Haleo choke is coming, otherwise known as his version of the cross collar, I feel you don't have much time left on the surf, and you may not.
No. Yeah, you should be. We were talking during that match. Ref and I were back and forth. It was just like, oh, dude, you had to know that was coming, right? Like you. And I'm sure he did. It's just probably a little harder to stop in the moment, if I had to guess. But
I'm not going to say I have the answer to it.
You and I would never get caught in that choke with Xande. Are you kidding? Come on.
As we just said that, even though this has not come out live, it's not a live podcast, I just got a text from Xande that says, death.
I was just going to say,
to both of you. So
I could hear him being like, I'm going to catch a flight to Hawaii and cross-choke Kevin for no reason at all. But
I like that he would go get you. Even though he's in my vicinity right now. But, yeah, clearly go get Kevin first, Xande. He should be first on your list. Guys, I thought Worlds was a lot of fun this year. I would agree. There are some still weird refereeing things that are going to happen. What do you think it's going to take for this? Because this is what I started thinking about. Just as important as I'm announcing I'm going to be taking place in Worlds, especially if you're Xande and you do it like a week before and you're just like, hey, everybody, I'm doing it. What? Okay, bye. Fine. But everybody else, there seemed to be a consistent note between, like, say, your Lovato, your Galvo, who says, hey, guys, I'm not competing. And it kind of bums you out because there's still some top-tier talent who don't do this to competition because they don't get paid for it. So what do you think this is making the world become? Because it's still the most prestigious of all of them. But I feel in certain ways it's becoming increasingly more stiff, and there seems to be more resistance to it each year.
I would say without question, the hand is being forced on the evolution. Because even this one, like, as much as there were really great peaks, and there were Keenan and Leandro, now that I've seen it, Mackenzie Dern and Michelle Nicolini, like, obviously there were amazing fights. Yeah, there is going to be that heavy cloud that kind of lays over it, and we're all watching because of the people that are fighting, but as more comes up, I do think they're going to have to get some more. It's not even about the rules, because we get it. Yeah, you have to have some sort of semblance of scoring because not everything's going to end in a submission. It's just not. But in this particular sense, there was just no consistency. And some of the things that didn't make sense, like stopping them every 5 seconds or touchies, is like, if they call it that, I'm back in. They can
Please
do it
use the official term, Kevin. I get insulted every time you don't use it.
That would be like, I would genuinely, if it popped up on the broadcast, it was just like touchies.
Oop, the ref has initiated touchies, as we all know.
But it was great to see he just whispered into his mic too, because you know they're mic'd up now. You saw like they were doing some things, and they're trying, like they do. And I'll give them this:
they were mic'd up. They were definitely doing that.
They were doing the NFL thing. They were like, "Yeah, we're going to instant replay that," but it still didn't work.
I wanted to tell you this though because it made me laugh so hard, which was when he did. There was so I think it was the Meow and Malphacine match. And I think he was waiting to get word. And you see him looking to go over the replay. And it was the one time where when they were about to make a referee's decision. And then they stop. And then they go to check and see what it means. And everybody starts booing. Like, people booed the replay. Which I thought was hilarious. Like, guys, I need to go check this out. Boo! So, interesting.
So I think they just need to work. They really have got to get some sort of consistency in this. And job one, can we please stop stopping them because they're near the yellow? For fuck's sake. You cannot re-grip them. That's just not the way it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like every year I hear top-tier talent not competing in it and not having to explain why. And you just take a guess because you go, uh-oh. Yeah, I think I know why they're not doing it. And I just feel like you're going to see a continued movement by people who have done Worlds a few times saying, you know what? I'll wait for the one that's going to pay me. And I don't know that they're wrong.
And that's the other part. You're seeing a larger emergence of that between, the Eddie Bravo Invitational Metamoris, between the Polaris Pro, even between what Five Grappling is now trying to do.
I don't even think you saw this. But Eddie Bravo announced that they're going to do EBI 4. Did you see this? It's going to take place in August. And I was reading this as I was at Worlds, and well done, EBI. But I was reading this while a match was going on at Worlds.
I hear you, journalist, and you're like, nice.
Well, because you think about it, and you're like, well, I guess I'm looking for a lot of jiu-jitsu content. Let's see what... Oh, fuck. Turns out you can get $5,000 per submission at the next EBI with as much as $20,000 for the winner if you get submissions within regulation. Now, you take that consideration, which is miles ahead of where we even were for EBI 3, which was giving out that same percentage of, hey, yeah, if you get something in submission in this time frame, we're going to give you more money. So we're going to give you that incentive. So now it makes you think, oh, shit. If I'm an athlete, do I really need to do Worlds?
Yeah. I think we're always going to have that young, hungry crop. But they're going to have to figure some shit out because their most noteworthy athlete had a shitty decision. That's just kind of what happens. So they're going to have to figure that stuff out in some way. Worlds, though, by and large, is going to have that air of, the refereeing is always going to be one of those things, consistency. Talk to us about do you have any final notes, or are you good to start transitioning to the seminar? Because I want to hear a little bit more about what you were doing.
Okay. Not much more about Worlds. I want to thank everybody who I saw there. I mean, there's too many people to name. Obviously, the good friends at Jits Grips, really good. I can't wait to find out if I can actually improve my grips. I want to thank...
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank Alex Perez, Gigi Gutierrez for hooking it up. We had a great time watching Worlds with them yesterday. Everybody from Alliance who treated me really, really nicely. That includes Rom, Jevons, of course. It was good to see him. Everybody in that section, just really, really cool. I don't know if you know Rom.
But you were there with Jevons?
Yes, I was there with John Evans.
Go on.
Yeah?
No, I don't
Okay.
know Rom. Who's Rom?
Ram Nanda, he is a good competitor and all right, but you may have recognized him as the guy who got taken down at a kids competition recently. Did you see this video?
I did not.
All right, by the end of the podcast, I will definitely make sure you see it. But he was, long story short, he was refereeing a kids match. And he was looking to kind of call the action. This kid just plows into him and gets the best takedown ever. It's still so funny. So anyway, good to see Paul Moran. It was good to see Amici.
Paul was there?
Obviously. Yeah, Paul was there for a little while. We chatted.
There?
Yep, Amici. It was good to see folks. So, obviously, good to see everybody, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the next time we get a awards, or not an award show. Yeah, let's come together for a Jiu-Jitsu award show. But yeah, it was good seeing everybody. But anyway, okay, the seminar. What do you want to know about it?
I'm curious. Just tell me every move he taught in detail, and if you could really narrate it so that we all understand them and can apply them in our jiu-jitsu game, that would be helpful. Go.
Cool. Okay, well, instead of actually answering that question, I'm going to answer one that I like way better, which is, so you and I are going to own a jiu-jitsu network one day, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had pitched this to our good friend Ramananda, and I said, what would be better than any kind of TV? The type of, what if there's the People's Court, but for jiu-jitsu? And you bring referees to uphold the decisions they've made in their lives.
I am already on board.
Jiu-jitsu. Now, keep in mind, Ram, as described earlier, is somebody who, he's been a referee, and he's
that would be a great People's Court. Bring that kid in.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, could you tell us about the assault?
Mm-hmm. And what was it, Kevin? What happened to Ram now that you've seen the footage?
Oh my gosh! And Rav sent me this as we're just this. That's what this podcast is. Rav sending me things I should have seen. It's genius. This kid, he gets choked out a little bit, and not completely because he never really loses complete consciousness, and he just drills him with a single leg. Mm-hmm. And Rob has that moment where you can see he's like, I can't powerbomb the child. I have to just let this
Society
go.
won't let me powerbomb this child, but it's completely the right choice.
If this were the 1970s, absolutely. But this is 2015, it's a different world. And he just takes him down, and it's so funny because you can see Rob being like, hey, buddy. Oh, that's great. But I would like to see them hash that out again.
Yes. So, anyway, in return to your question, Gary had a great seminar.
Good. Out there at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Yes, and that was the first time I have ever gotten to go there. It's just open. It's a great place where if you are a jiu-jitsu practitioner or athlete and you're looking for a place to stay, it's pretty conducive to a whole bunch of places. It's spearheaded by two of our friends. It is between Joey House and Eric Medina. And they're putting it together so that if you guys are ever looking for a place to stay when there's tournaments out here in California, in specifically Los Angeles, Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club, you go there, and sometimes they have cool things, like a seminar with Gary Tonin.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Idaho Jiu-Jitsu Club probably won't have as much appeal.
But they'll have
Just
better
not yet.
potatoes. They will have that.
Absolutely.
The interesting thing is, so I'll tell you one thing that Gary worked on with us, because here's the thing. Gary swore us all to secrecy. So I can't tell you anything that he taught us.
Okay.
But I can tell you that Gary definitely was teaching our good friend Alex a guillotine. And Alex was like, he's working on it and he's trying it out on me. And he goes, I don't know, Gary, it's not working. And, Alex he's a really good jiu-jitsu practitioner. It's not like he's not good at using guillotines. But he looks at me and he looks at Gary, and Gary looks at me and looks at my head and goes, all right, let me get a track at this. And Gary starts putting pressure and starts doing his Gary Tonin-ness. And it's like, Raf, you've just got a stupid neck. You have a stupid neck. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, what, Gary? You're trying to give
It's his
me
professional
shit?
diagnosis.
You're trying to give me shit for you being super bendy and unable to do certain moves to yourself? How dare you? This is the one thing I have is just a irregular neck and head. Leave me alone.
That's funny.
But anyway, it was a fun time.
Yeah. It was like, it happens, by the way, with Raf's weird angular neck.
Yes, so it's a very strange one. However, still can be done. Still can be done when your technique is right. So, congratulations.
Yeah. Or you just crank the shit out of it. Either way.
I just like Gary's looking at me like I just like that my neck's like a piñata.
The professional diagnosis was you have a stupid neck.
I have a stupid neck, guys. I'm very sorry. So my thanks to Gary. It was fun to catch up with him. He's good people, man. He's always fun to talk to and to shoot the shit with. And his seminar, as I'm sure you could imagine, quite good. So
yeah, thank you.
I look forward to seeing Gary again very soon. You may see the article that we did coming out with Jits coming out very soon. And, other thing that's kind of interesting. The Los Angeles Jiu-Jitsu Club looks like they're going to have more and more people. So Gary was there, but hanging out there because it's Worlds, we had Samir Chantry just chilling there.
What?
Yeah, he stayed there for the weekend, and because he's here for Worlds, and here's Gary Tonin doing a seminar, and then Samir's about to take off, and he's like, "Bye, everybody, I'm going to Worlds now." And I'm like, this is a fucking utopia. This is amazing. It's where jiu-jitsu can happen.
Yeah, no shit, Samir Chandra.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
that is
very fun stuff.
Raf.
Yes.
Carlos Condit's back.
Yes. Tell me more about this because you could not stop talking about it.
Well, first of all, I do want to visit New Mexico, and if you haven't seen the Carlos Condit Why You Should Visit New Mexico ad, you're the only one that's missing out. He wins via violent elbow strikes. And I say violent elbow strikes because if I just said elbow strikes, that wouldn't be enough. So I like to add the caveat of violent. And frankly, I think he's ready for a title shot. I don't know why they would do anything other than give him a title shot.
Okay. You're always angling for the title shot for him.
Well, I guess I just like the way he fights. Yes, I'm ready for the second coming of Condit. He was injured, as people know, coming back from the injury. I was nervous about Thiago Alves' nose, and I'm sure so's Thiago, but that was brutal.
Yes.
Multiple elbows? Like, come on. Like, that stuff. Broke his nose.
I mean, what do you expect? If people are just fucking attacking you like crazy, there's going to be a certain point when,
elbowing the hell out of you. Ow. I'm sure that's what he said. He was like, oh, hey, Carlos? Hey, Los? Can we just go easy?
Los, you're so mean. No.
Your elbows are sharp, you skinny little bitch. This was a not-so-viewed UFC Fight Night card, at least in the Kevin household. Because I'm just...
God. Your ability to mangle the English language is quite impressive. Yes. I love that Nielsen ratings in the Kevin household were at -1 until Carlos Condit showed up.
Yeah, well, there was also 7 people named Oliveira fighting on this card. 3. And only 2 of them won. So how would you like to be the Oliveira that didn't win? Crushing. What do you have for me on this UFC card? You were doing some tweeting, I saw.
No, I was not. Not on this one. I was actually en route in between Worlds and getting back home, so I caught bits and pieces of it as much as I could. Definitely watched the Condit fight, and the first round I liked because I liked watching it with people saying, definitely a 10-9 round for, Thiago Alves, who then very quickly go, oh, Condit's back. Yeah, he's still good. No, I don't know why anybody would give him, not give him the first round.
As a heads up, it was 121 total strikes to 42.
Yes.
That's a significant amount of that's a big ass.
Yes, it is a little different.
So you think Condit's back? You think he's back?
Well, according to my very reliable sources on the internet, yeah.
It's back. My very reliable internet sources. Yeah, it helps that we know a lot of the Jackson MMA crew. So you can always, there's a heavy influx whenever a Jackson's MMA guy fights. Our Facebook feed and podcast feed blow up with a lot of support. And it's worse when it's Carlos Condit because I'm also a Carlos Condit nut.
Yes.
I don't think I've mentioned that on the podcast, though.
Well, I think it's world known, one might say.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. I should, you try and bring it up. You just don't remember what you've covered on air all the time, Raf. Big notes from this card? Do you have anything? Or we kind of just, there's a few UFC fight nights in here, and I'm not saying that it wasn't a stacked card. Mm-hmm. No, that is what I'm saying. This was not a stacked card.
No. Let's say this. It's a card that happened, and Carlos Condit was on it, and Dan Henderson fights next week. That's what you can probably take away from it.
Fights Tim Bosch.
Bosch.
Which, the fight of the century.
Oh my God.
If you're just adding up the years that both fighters have existed, it's got the... I was trying to come up with a creative way
no,
to
I'm
angle
pretty sure that was not going to happen, no matter your best efforts.
Cool. As long as we're all giving it a try. Raf, this has been a phenomenal week out here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I got one of the surf instructors fights for ONE FC. Going to go train with him tomorrow because he also trains over at Island Jiu-Jitsu. Brought my kawaii kimono, of course. And I found out Jay Greek trains at Island Jiu-Jitsu sometimes.
Are you talking about John Greek?
Yeah. Jonathan Greek trains at a little Island Jiu-Jitsu from time to time. So really looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Plus, any chance to wear the kawaii kimono is a good day.
Yes, of course.
It's a great day, as a matter of fact. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap.
I think so. I think it's been a good Worlds discussion for those of you who are into Worlds. Next week we'll return with a UFC 188 preview. That means there's another edition of Over Under Kevin. And we've got some cool things lined up. I think we're going to be talking about some really interesting shit next week.
Time to retain my belt. Or, wait, get it back.
It's probably best if you don't try and compare what you do to winning or losing belts.
Fair. I don't have any shout-outs, really. I'm kind of just out here on the island. I guess big shout-out to Vicky for sending me my license. That was really nice of her, so I could get the car rented. I left my license. I lost my license last week. I don't remember. I don't even know. I have no idea where it is. So I had to get the paper one, and I left the paper in my car because I was like, well, I don't want to just carry around this piece of paper as a license. Very smart, Kevin, to not carry around your license, you idiot. So I left it, and it was on its way. It was being shipped. It took 5 days to get shipped. She overnighted it to me. It was very sweet. Otherwise, thanks to the Marriott, Waikiki,
Well, I guess
room on. That's all I got.
I guess my main shout out is going to be everybody I talked to earlier. Obviously, the good people at Worlds. I want to go ahead and shout out Viali Martial Arts Center.
Mac.
I don't know.
I headbutted a pillow. It's whatever.
I don't know. You need to do all that.
Yeah.
There was commitment, Kevin. Real big commitment that happened last week, which was I got up at 5 a.m. to do jiu-jitsu.
I saw this photo. You were like, "This is the earliest I've ever gotten up for jiu-jitsu."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I just had assumed you just waited until that time. Like, I didn't think you had gotten up. I just thought you had, stopped sitting on the couch.
I will not lie, I didn't get a ton of sleep, but I did go, and it was kind of nice because we started, it was an open mat at 5 a.m., and 5 of us were crazy, and for me, it was helpful because if I don't train, I'm really not happy, so, I got the ability to train a little bit and go to work, and I was totally much more manageable of a human being. But,
Really?
Oh,
Found
yeah.
it like sparked the day?
Oh, definitely. I was way nicer to people. It didn't take me as long. I'm not a morning person, so it didn't take me as long to, be able to look at another human in the face and not punch them. So, it was very pleasant. But the very beginning, so it's 5 a.m. At 5:05, we start rolling. And the very first roll I have, they go, "Oh, hey, Raf, let's kind of flow roll just to kind of, warm up." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And I'm glad we did that because had I been rolling for the first time while still waking up at 5 a.m., I think I would have been either put to sleep via choke or just from tired. So,
They come over and you're like doing that snore thing, and it's like, "Did he not tap?" It's like, there was no submission. He just fell asleep.
oh, he was.
Oh,
He actually passed my guard, and he was just like, "Napsies."
he was. Yeah, he was making the advance, and that's fun.
So, thankfully, but anyway.
Then you take down
Whatever ref there was around me, I made sure to just take them down.
Yeah, somehow you just storm in, knock down Rob. That's good.
You know what? Next time I roll, and I'm anywhere in the vicinity near Rom, and he's rolling near me, I'm just gonna tell my training partner, "Hey, can we kind of get near him real quick? Because I'm just gonna try and take him down and see if he has PTSD."
Yeah, or do one of those things where you play coy, pretend you got. It's like, "No, Rob, come over. Just take him in."
Yeah, exactly. But it was fun. I want to thank Kyle for putting that together. Casey, Jose, our good friend Xande Ribeiro. It was good times, man. And like I said, I was a much happier human being. I want to thank everybody over at Breakdown Academy. Obviously, Jevons for being so good and awesome and cool. I'm just saying words now to make Kevin more jealous of him.
Yeah, and good looking and blonde.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty sure there was a moment this week where John clearly didn't hear something because he was too good looking.
Happens a lot in the Jevons bubble.
I was pretty sure he was just like, "Wait, what?" And they go, "You didn't hear that?" And he's like, "No." They just go, "John, I think you need to get yourself checked out. I think you're coming down with a case of too good looking. So you need to fix that." But I think, my friends, that'll do it for me. And Kevin, go enjoy the rest of your Hawaii trip now.
That's going to do it for us tonight here at Verbal Tap. I'm Kevin. Thanks for listening.
Good night and touchies.
Touchies.
I can't tell if this is the greatest contribution we've given to jiu-jitsu or the worst.
I'm sure people will let us know. You know how shy they are on the internet.